You're sitting at a restaurant table surrounded by 12 people celebrating your promotion. Your boss just announced your new $127,000 salary to the entire group. Everyone's raising glasses, your college roommate saying you finally made it. Your mom is texting heart emojis from across the table. And under that same table, your right hand is gripping your phone. Gripping it so hard your knuckles are white. Because you just opened your banking app and saw negative $847 staring back at you 3 days before rent is due. The waiter brings out a $340 bottle of champagne. Someone ordered. You smile, you clink glasses, you take a sip. A sip that tastes like battery acid because of your credit card statement. The one that hit your inbox 2 hours ago, showing $23,600 in debt. The minimum payments alone are $680 this month. Your car payment is $520. Your student loans are $430. And that apartment you moved into 6 months ago costs $2,100 a month. You are making more money than 73% of American households. Everyone at this table thinks you're winning, but you're drowning in slow motion. And nobody can see the water filling your lungs. Picture the guy 3 seats down from you. He is wearing a $180 Patagonia vest over a button-down shirt. He drives a Toyota Camry with $31,000 still owed on the loan. His watch cost $450. His apartment has that exposed brick. The exposed brick everyone posts on Instagram. He looks exactly like success is supposed to look. And he is $190,000 in debt when you count everything. Student loans, car, credit cards, that couch from West Elm. The couch he bought on a payment plan. He is 34 years old and his net worth is negative 6 figures. Now walk across town to a different apartment. Smaller, no exposed brick. The furniture is a mix of Craigslist finds. A mix of Craigslist finds and hand-me-downs. There is an old Honda Civic with 140,000 miles parked outside. It has a small dent in the rear bumper. The guy who lives here makes $68,000 a year. Nobody's throwing him a celebration dinner. Nobody's impressed when he tells them what he does for work. But his investment accounts have $240,000 sitting in them. His car is paid off. His rent is $950. Because he chose location based on math instead of status. He is 34 years old and 7 years away from never working again. Same age, different choices, completely opposite financial realities. Here is what nobody tells you in that high school economics class. Learning about supply and demand curves. The actual skill that separates wealth from poverty isn't your salary. It is about understanding the difference between looking rich and being rich. And our entire culture has been engineered backwards. We've been programmed to optimize for appearance instead of reality. To buy the $75,000 truck instead of investing $75,000. To rent the luxury apartment instead of building equity. To finance the lifestyle instead of funding the freedom. The people who actually build wealth do it by being invisible. They drive cars that are paid off. They live in places that cost 20% of their income. Instead of spending 40% on rent, they automate their investment contributions before seeing the money, before it ever hits their checking account. They understand that every dollar you spend on looking successful, is a dollar that can't work for you while you sleep. And the gap between these two paths gets wider every single month. Compound interest works in both directions. It either builds your wealth or it buries you under debt. There is no neutral ground. You're either playing offense or defense. And right now, most people are playing defense so hard. They don't even realize they're losing. This is what 17 years inside investment banking taught me. The wealthy don't follow the same playbook everyone else is reading. They know something the rest of the world hasn't figured out. And that knowledge gap is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. I can't discuss that. You think you're different though, right? You think this doesn't apply to you, because you're aware now. You read the personal finance subreddit. You listened to that podcast. The podcast about index funds. You know the difference between a Roth and traditional IRA. You think you've got the knowledge. But knowledge without execution is just expensive entertainment. And I can prove you're still playing the game wrong. Because you are watching this video on a $1,200 phone. when a $400 phone does the exact same thing. You are wearing shoes that cost $140, when $60 shoes would have walked you the same distance. You are subscribed to 4 streaming services at $68 a month, when you only actually watch one of them. You bought lunch yesterday for $14, instead of bringing something from home that would cost $3. Those aren't judgments, those are just facts. And those facts add up to $847 a month in completely optional spending that you've convinced yourself is necessary. That is $10,164 a year, invested at 10% average annual returns over 20 years. That is $637,000 you just traded for convenience and comfort. That is $10,164 a year, traded for the feeling of being normal. The reason you're not wealthy yet isn't your income. It is because you're still operating from the same identity. You're still the person who believes spending money makes you happy. You're still the person who thinks you deserve to treat yourself after a hard week. You're still the person who is optimizing for today, instead of building for 10 years from now. And that identity is expensive. It costs you $637,000. It costs you the ability to walk away from jobs you hate. It costs you the option to take 6 months off and travel. It costs you the freedom to say no to things that simply don't serve you anymore. That is the actual price tag of staying comfortable. Here is the part that is going to make you uncomfortable. You already know everything I'm telling you. You've known it for years. The information has been available the entire time. You could have Googled how to build wealth at any point and found the same basic principles I'm going to teach you. But you didn't execute, you didn't change. You kept doing the same things and hoping for different results. So the real question isn't your access to the right information. The real question is whether you're capable of becoming a different person. Because the version of you that got you here can't get you there. Because the version of you that got you here can't get you there. The person who buys the $1,200 phone will never be wealthy. The person who finances the lifestyle will never own their time. The person who optimizes for comfort will never experience freedom. You have to kill that person, become someone else entirely. Someone who gets excited about a $4,000 investment contribution instead of a $4,000 vacation. Someone who feels pride driving a paid-off car instead of shame. Someone who understands that every single dollar is a soldier you can send out to fight for your freedom. And right now you're sending your entire army to die for nothing. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't about information, it is about identity. And identity change is violent. It is uncomfortable. It requires you to become the person your friends don't understand anymore. The person who says no to dinner to hit your savings goal. The person who drives past the luxury apartment to live somewhere cheaper. The person who disappears from the group chat because you're building something they can't see yet. Most people never make that shift. They stay comfortable. They stay broke. They retire at 67 with $140,000 in their 401k and wonder where all the time went. You're either going to be different or you're going to be the same. Most people never make that shift. There is no middle ground. The choice is happening right now, whether you realize it or not.